Hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you find yourselves in the world. I say it's morning, it's afternoon, it's evening, it's morning, probably in China. So I say hello to you. How have you been? It's a real pleasure for me to come to you today. And my name is Pauline Leman. For those who do not know me, I'm the founder of Star Richards Community Initiative, a charity with a mission to raise aspirations and break the cycle of Black people on their achievements in education. I believe that every child can do well in school given the right level of support, effort, the right mindset. And that is why I'm so passionate, because that in education, a lot of children are doing poorly, notably children from black backgrounds, children from working class families, children living in deprived communities. So they live in areas where schools are the lowest attaining schools. And I believe that every child should be supported to be able to do well in school. Thank you very much for joining me. Please, type in the comment box so I know who is there. Okay, hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining. Okay, so it's the second half of the first term. So some schools went back this week, other schools went back last week. That's Precious. Hi, Precious. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure. How are you? So schools are back. It's the second half of the first term, and some really important things are happening in schools this second half of the first term. We have some mock exams going on, or if they've not started yet. There are children, across key stages, key stage 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, who are going to be doing some really important exams, end of term exams. So it's really important that as a parent, you're able to support your child. So the end of term exams really will cover everything that children have studied in the first term. So it is therefore important that as a parent, you are able to help your child to revise effectively for these exams so they are well prepared. Remember, a child who goes to write an exam or a test unprepared would mean that obviously they will not do well in the test, which does not necessarily reflect their academic potential. So whose fault would it be? Would it be the teacher who sets low targets for your child? Or would it be your fault for not do well in their end of term exams? Sorry about that. I think there was a bit of internet. There was a poor connection, so I hope I didn't disconnect from your end. Okay, so it's really important that you're able to help your child to prepare. Studies show that children are best placed to succeed in school when parents are actively and strategically involved in their studies. So if you did set, as we said before, goals for your child for this first term, then you need to be there to support them, to see them progress and ensure that they're working towards their goals. So part of this the issue or the problem is that in a lot of homes, children struggle. So if you are one where you experience power struggles with your child over homework and study time, they don't want to settle down and study, maybe they want to play outside with their friends, or they just make it really difficult for you to get on, then today we're going to be sharing some strategies that will help you, that might make things better. I believe that every home has different circumstances, different dynamics. Children are different. So I'm going to share some ideas that will be worth you trying and kind of bring an end to this power struggle and misery that some parents face. I've had parents write to me about, really struggling to get their children to do work. Some children just categorically refuse to sit down and do work, and parents tend to give in. So if that is your case, I want to assure you, you are not alone. So I hope that some of the strategies we're going to share today will make a difference. If you have questions while I share some of these strategies or comments, we're all learning from each other. Please do not hesitate to type it in the chat box as we go ahead. The first thing I want to do is to differentiate between homework and study time, because a lot of times parents say, oh, my child has finished doing homework and that is it. So what is homework? Homework is work that is set by the school. It's either an extension of the work that has been done in the lesson during the day to kind of help the child consolidate it, or it could be just maybe extra work, maybe to help the child to study beyond the scope of what they've studied in the classroom. Sometimes, I assure you, the homework has no relationship with what they're doing in the classroom. So depending on the school your child goes to, sometimes it's just set to tick the box that homework has been set. So if your child has done homework, that is good. That is out of the way. Now, they also need study time. So when you're setting up your schedule, there's homework time for them to do the homework. And it's important that they do the homework, because if they don't, they will get in trouble. They will get, detentions and sanctions. So it's important that they do the homework. That is part of the school policy. So it's got to be done. It's also important for them to have study time. The school doesn't tell you they have to have study time, but you then need to schedule it in the study time apart from the homework time, so that your child, study time is where your child now goes over the work they've been doing, maybe from the start of the term, or the work they've done during on that day. I always recommend that children go over the work they've done during the day in the evening, even if it's just reading casually for 10 minutes, just reading casually through. It's going to be the second time they're going over the work, and that will help them move the work from short-term to long-term memory. So that is really important. So I'm going to share with you 9 things you can do, okay, to help you overcome the nightmare, the frustrations that some parents face to get their kids to sit down and do homework or actually study. So the first thing is that you've got to think about your evening routines. What happens in your home in the evening when children come back from school? Okay? In a lot of homes, unfortunately, there is no proper structure. Things are done in any order. Kids eat separately at different times. Some jump out to hang out with friends. Others are on TV, on phones. There is no structure. So the first thing the first reason why you might be struggling is because there is a lack of structure in your home. I tell you, structure is powerful, not only in helping children to actually get into a routine that gives them responsibility for how to manage their time and take you away, because we are raising up children that have to be responsible. When your child leaves home and goes to university, you will no longer be there to remind them to do homework, to remind them to study, to remind them to put their phones down, to remind them to eat, to cook, and that kind of thing. So they need this structured environment, and they learn it from the home. So if your home is structured, what you're basically doing is transferring these really important and vital skills that your child will need when they get onto university. Let's not even go too far to university. When your child gets onto GCSE, where they have to be able to manage their time, take charge of their learning, do the extra working hard to get the grades they really want to get. It takes a lot of self-discipline. It takes a lot of self-management. It doesn't take a parent pushing a child. I tell you the truth, students who are A-star students are not students that parents push. So the earlier you start, the better. So think about your home routines. Think about, how do I want to Structure evening times in my home. What is a sequence of things I want my children to do when they come back from school? And if your home wasn't structured and you have older children like teenagers, I tell you, whenever you want to change habits at home with older children, there will be resistance. But one way around it is to get together with in a family meeting, a family conversation, maybe at dinner time, after a nice time of sharing pleasantries and humor, then bring this in to say, let's think about how we can make our home environment structured in the evenings. And let's talk about the benefits of a structured home environment. It leads to increased productivity. There is less waste of time. Children are able to do a lot of things, the things they would love to do that they may not do due to wasting of time and, just using time anyhow. So share that with them. Let them own the benefits of that structured environment. Discuss with them how you may want to, the sequence of things you may want to do as a family in the evenings, and then adopt it. You may want to put it down, even type it up and put it on the fridge, because obviously to be able to adopt a new habit, it might not come naturally. So you may need to revisit the write-up that you've glued onto your fridge or on the wall in the kitchen, and that might help. Good evening, Omalabake. Thanks for joining. I hope you're finding this helpful. If you're finding this helpful, please give me a thumbs up. I like to know that people that are listening are actually benefiting from what we're sharing. So that is the first thing. Create a structured evening routine. Now, the second thing, homework time should come before play. So if your children come back from school and they go straight out to hang out with friends, that's for teenagers. I imagine, or for children in year 5 and 6 who can hang out, with friends without necessarily parents being there. But I don't let my primary school kids hang out without me being around, okay? Because it's my responsibility. I need to ensure that the children, as young as primary school age kids, they need that supervision. So homework time ideally should come before play, okay, or entertainment. Because when kids start by playing, watching TV, okay, and by the way, in our home, there's no TV during weekdays, okay? So, but if in your home you permit them to watch TV, then that should come as a reward. So it should come rather as a reward for completing their homework and their studies, okay? So if they go on to play and things that distract them, you would notice that it's going to be really difficult to get them to actually settle down to study. And that is where a lot of parents find it difficult, have these power struggles, or the child sits down there and they're grumpy and they're resisting you and they're hating you and everything that follows. So homework time ideally should come before play and entertainment. Thirdly, create a time for homework. So in your schedule, ideally put a time in, okay? Put a time in, that time for homework, or put it after something. So let it be, that's the benefit of routines. So after one thing comes the other, and so on. So there should be time for homework. So maybe it could be meal time and then homework time. Or if your children come out from school early, okay, they could have snack time, okay, a bit of time to chill, and then homework. So whatever it is, as I said before, there is no hard and fast rule. Every home situation is very, very different. But it's important that you have this structured time so that children know when to do what. And then they can easily flow. And it's going to be without complaints, because they know that that is what we do anyway. The fourth thing, create a space for homework. Where do children do homework? Do they do it on the dining table, in the study, in their bedroom? So there should be assigned spaces or areas for homework. If you have more than one child, depending on the ages as well, the older ones obviously will not be sitting down doing homework with the younger ones. So the younger ones ideally should be sat in a place where you can monitor, you can observe, and you can actually sit down as well to be able to watch what they do and to be able to support them. Because interestingly, children sit down and do homework and sometimes carry a task full of mistakes back to school, and the teacher has to be wondering, did the parents actually sit down to see what their child is doing? That is part of being a responsible parent. So create a space for homework. Now, if you do not have enough room in your home, you could buy foldable tables and chairs, which you can bring out when it's study time for children to sit down and do homework. Ideally, children should not be sitting down on the bed, lying down while doing homework. So we can always improvise and make things happen so that we get our children to achieve their potential. Number 5, create a calm, quiet, and distraction-free environment during homework and study time. It is a big sacrifice. Now, these things distract children. So if you have your child sitting down on the dining table, trying to do homework, and you're watching the news or watching Nollywood or talking on the phone to your friends or doing any other thing that is distracting them, I tell you, they will be distracted. They're going to lose focus. They want to join in with you. They want to listen to your listen to your conversation, and all those things create a waste of time. So I encourage you as a parent, commit to keeping this time. Make it a protected time. A time I do not pick up phone calls during this time in the house until my youngest daughter, who is in primary school, has gone to bed. The older ones study in different parts of the house. So make it a protected time. TV's off, no phone calls, no computers, and things that would distract your child. That way you can sit down and you can actually watch your child. You can see what they're doing. You can be there you could pay your full attention. I tell you, that also shows your child that you value them and that you value their education, that you value what they are doing. And they also understand that their education is important. That when you are watching TV, loud TV, and they're sitting down doing homework, then it shows that the homework is not really important. It shows that the study is not important. How can somebody study when they are in a distracted environment and actually take it in? So there are many ways in which we pass on messages to our children about things that are important or not important to us. And so I encourage you, make it a quiet, calm, and distraction-free time. And you will see your child doing a lot more. And you'll see your child being calm, especially for children that are hyperactive. They call them ADHD and all sort of names they use for these children. But I tell you, in one of the ways in which parents that have children with ADHD are encouraged to manage it at home is to maintain a calm environment. Now, if you're not talking loudly on the phone, there's no TV on, and you're speaking really calmly and nicely to your child, I tell you, even the most hyperactive child will calm down. So let your home environment be a calming environment so that your child can calm down and can focus on their schoolwork. I hope I'm helping somebody here. So that is number 5. Number 6, make homework and study time a protected time for the family. What do I mean by that? That during the time when children are studying and doing homework, let be a time when the entire family is seen to be doing something that requires focus. As a mother, as a father, even if you don't need to study, just sit down with your child. I would sit down there watching what my daughter is doing. And if she's getting on independently with her work, I can have a book that I'm reading. There's always something that you can do. That shows that that time is valued. And it also would help you to do some very useful things with your time. So make it a protected child. Now, a protected time, sorry. Now, when you make it a protected time, it becomes a family culture. It's important for the family to develop a family culture towards education, towards study time. It's a time when mom, dad are also doing something useful. I tell you, You don't know the message you are passing on to your children. Thank you very much for the feedback. Ruth says very helpful. Selvin says great tips. Thank you so much for the feedback. So make it a protected time. For us, when our children are doing exams, it is a family. The entire family is involved in it. I'm going to do my next Facebook Live about this, especially for parents with children in exam classes. That way you support your child through the process. For a lot of children, it is a painful time to sit down and focus and concentrate. So they need you to be there with them. So they know that my siblings and my parents are not having fun and I am sitting down, focusing on this schoolwork. So that is number 6. Number 7, have rules on mobile phones and TV exposure during protected study time. Again, if you have children, thank you very much, Fatima, I appreciate your comments. If you have children who are teenagers and you've given them the free use of their mobile phones and laptops and all of that, again, you will experience some resistance there. So a good starting point, as I shared at the beginning, for those who are just joining, you may want to go back and watch the replay. It's important to sit down as a family and talk about the benefits of these new rules or regulations that we want to have in the house, or the new habits. Let me use habits. It's a lot nicer. So let's discuss the new habits and its benefits. I have found out that the best way to reach the heart of children is not to give them lots of rules and regulations, but to discuss the benefits. Let them own it. Let them know why they shouldn't be studying with the TV on, or why we shouldn't have TV during the weekdays, and why we shouldn't have our phones close to us when we are studying. And as I said before, make it a family time. We could then decide that the entire family are going to keep the phones away during that protected study time. And for older children, you would then encourage them, when you've done with your studies, you can now have your phone for about 30 minutes to 1 hour before you go to bed, and then hand the phone back in. Because obviously, it's important that they're still able to connect with their friends, but let all these other things happen after their study time. Thank you so much for the helpful tips, Pauline. Thanks, Mary, for the lovely comment. I appreciate you, and I thank you for everyone who's joined today. I believe that the tips I'm sharing today will make a difference in someone's family. So number 8, I said I have 9 things to share. So number 8, get relevant resources. Okay, and plan for tasks you want your child to do. Okay, so some parents want to take away TV time, but then you don't replace TV time with something else. So if you're going to tell your child that you will not be watching the TV during the weekdays, then you need to replace it with something. Again, I can do a Facebook Live for that, especially for younger children. For us, that policy, is something we had adopted a long time ago. So even when I had toddlers, there was no TV during the week. But then you need to replace it with a very structured set of different activities that children can do. So get relevant resources. If, for example, your child doesn't bring homework home until Friday, because in a lot of schools, homework, especially in state schools, in primary school, the child would bring homework. Okay, repeat number 8, please. Okay, so get relevant resources that your children can use to do homework in the evening. And I was saying before that if your child goes to a school where they bring homework once a week, my kids used to go to a school where they bring homework once a week, and my kids would just do it within 10 minutes. Okay, so homework once a week done within 10 minutes. It means that for the rest of the 6 days, the child basically has nothing else to do. So if you're going to say to your child, you're going to do homework, you're going to do studies, then what are they going to be doing? So you then need to go and get the resources, the relevant resources, to be able to get them to study at home. or to use at home. And a good strategy that might be helpful would be every day to set some tasks. Okay, for me, I have workbooks. Okay, my kids bring a lot of homework anyway, so we don't always get the extra time to do. But when we do, okay, I will set the task. So don't just tell your child, oh, just go and do work in that math book. Okay, that is a bit, it's a bit casual, and your child will just feel, well, it doesn't really matter. I might just go and just flip any page and just do any task there, and mom might not even check it. But when you actually choose the task, what I do is to get the workbooks and write down the date, okay, at the top of the pages that I want them to do every day. Now, if you are a parent who sends your child to a childminder, that becomes even really useful. So get all the resources that you want your child to do, write down dates on the top of the pages you want them. Okay, apologies, I had an incoming call. So I don't know if you carried on hearing me. Please let me know if you could hear me. There was an incoming call so that I know whether to move on. Okay, I was talking, I thought you kind of saw me, but I think it interrupted it. So I was saying that you write down the dates at the top of the pages you want your child to work in, and you can hand that over to the childminder. Or you can, if you don't send your child to the childminder, then they're there for your child to use. That helps to overcome the struggles and the fights, and the stress of telling the child, oh, just go and do work. Just go and do work in your math book, or just go and do work in your English book. Even if it's reading, you want to tell them how many chapters or pages they need to be reading on that day. So that is, and then for younger children, okay, you want to get the resources that they need to play with. So is it puzzles? Is it board games? Is it paint for painting? All the artwork, whatever they need, sand, whatever, just get the things they need to be able to play and engage their brain with. Because for younger children, obviously, they can't do schoolwork for a long time. They could do 5-10 minutes of learning numbers and that kind of thing. Okay. Please kindly explain number 7. Okay, so Precious, you're taking us back. Okay, let me just finish this and I'll touch on number 7 again. So get everything that your toddler needs at home, okay, for play, because toddlers learn through play. Come up, plan for the songs you want to sing with them, the rhymes you want to read to them, the animals you want to get them to learn, the colors you want to get them to learn. Get the charts there. When my kids were, toddlers, I had all of those at home. So it's about readiness, being ready. Yes, we're talking here about making homework and study time hassle-free, stress-free and frustration-free. So these are some strategies. Okay, so I've just done number 8. Let me go back for Precious to number 7. I'll go back quickly, Precious, and you may want to watch the replay. So have rules on mobile phone use and TV during protected study time. So basically, for older children, I know you're asking because you've got older children there, you will need to sit down with them and talk about the benefits of actually, not having to study while using our mobile phones or having our mobile phones around, because it distracts and it hinders, it makes them assimilate things in a disjointed manner. So get them to understand this so that we can all, as a starting point, especially for older children, we could just decide to then put all our mobile phones away during that time. So if we've made it a protected time, we put it all away so the teenagers know that we're all in it together. And, it's going to help to overcome that aspect of resistance. So I've just briefly spoken about it. And no TV during that time as well. So we're all doing something useful with the time. So finally, number 9, if you want to get those children to do something that they've not been used to doing, a good one would be to get in some rewards. So you want to reward your children for, especially if they were fighting and being resistant, then you want to create a positive reinforcement chart where every day where they go through their routines, without arguing, answering back, and so on, you give them a star. And at the end, they can choose what they want, on Amazon or eBay for you to, or from the stores for you to get for them. Children love rewards, and I tell you, there's no child that would not respond, to a reward. Okay, so let's try and use reward, positive reinforcement, rather than punishment. Okay, because they will respond better to positive reinforcement. A reward could be play. So, okay, if you finish your homework before this time, you have enough time before your bedtime, you can then play. Okay, so use, play and the things that they like as rewards for the children. So I'm going to quickly run through the 9 things. I hope this has been really useful for somebody. The first thing, think about your evening home routines. Secondly, homework time should come before playtime or entertainment. Third, create a time for homework. Fourth, create a space for homework. 5, create a quiet, calm, and distraction-free environment for children to study and do homework. 6, make homework and study time a protected time for the entire family. 7, have rules on mobile phone usage and TV during that protected study time. 8, get relevant resources that your children will need to use to study, and then plan for tasks you want your younger children to do. Now, on my website, starrichards.co.uk, on the right side, there are some ideas there for suggested resources for Key Stage 1 and 2 and for Key Stage 3 and 4. So if you want to have an idea of some resources, please just visit www.starrichards.co.uk. And finally, number 9, have a reward system in place to help your child to kind of comply with this new habit that you want to bring into your home. So, are there any questions, any contributions? I can see here. Thank you very much. I've learned a lot. Thanks, Ivania, for the comments. If you have any other comments, any questions, please do not hesitate to type them in the chat box before we end today's Temitope. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining Temitope, and thank you to everybody. Okay, Tina, I tried introducing these at home, but notice the kids prefer to do their homework when it is best for them. And school have never talked about them handing their homework late. And school is not raising any concerns about their performance in school. As a result, I decided to let them study when it best suits them. I don't know if I need to make a fuss about setting times for them to complete their homework. Hope that is the right thing. Hope that is the right thing to do. Thanks. Okay. So your children are doing their homework and they're doing their study, as and when they want to, and it's working for you. If that's working for you, that is fine. Remember, the title of the broadcast today was sharing strategies to make homework and study time force-free, okay, or helping you overcome power struggles. If you do not experience power struggles, then I think, you're blessed and you're doing really well. But for some parents, they are finding it really hard. And I believe that, they're going to pick 1 or 2 things here. Precious says, very useful, sis. I've been focusing in creating a structure. Thanks for this. Okay, thank you so much, Precious. So as I said, there's 1 or 2 things for everyone. We have different home situations. We are doing some of it already. Some people have structure already, but I believe that some people watching would find 1 or 2 things useful. Thank you so much for your comment. And please keep doing what you're doing. Tina, well done. Keep doing, what you're doing. I'm glad to see that your kids are excelling their potential, exceeding their potential in school. So let's keep supporting them. Let's keep, doing it as a family and get them to really smash it. I believe you me, every child has got potential. Every child can become an A and an A-star student. Let's help them to maximize their potential, and God will bless you. God will grant you grace to support them through. Fatima, how long do they have to study in a day, and how can they plan with different subjects? That is a very, very good one, Fatima. Can you please inbox me? That would be an entire session I can do. If people want, I can come and do it. Show you how to plan for different subjects. That makes a lot of sense, especially for children in secondary school who have between 10 to 15 subjects. How to plan that time in is one of the things that I teach in my study skills workshops. So I will maybe inbox me and we can talk about it. Thank you so much. Very useful tip. Thank you so much. Thank you, Omolabake, Habibert, Ivania, Fatima, Tawene, Mary, Precious. Thank you so much to everybody who has joined in today. I do wish you a lovely end of the week. And hopefully I should be back next week. I'm actually not in the UK. So I'm busy with working here in America. And so it's been a bit challenging actually coming on. But I would try my best. Know that I'm rooting for you. I'm praying for you. I believe in your child. Don't lose hope on your child. It is well. Have a lovely week. Bye-bye.